My childhood sweetheart, Harper Vance, was being crushed by her twin sister's bonus point system. Harper would stay up all night, grinding through practice problems while her sister scrolled through TikTok. Harper fought for every point in the exam hall, while her sister slept through half the test. Yet her sister always scored exactly 3 points higher. Just as the mockery from her sister, the gossip from classmates, and the confusion of her family were about to break her, I stepped in. Internal conflict? Sisters tearing each other apart? Ladies, your vision is too small. This system, I'm going to use it to help you defy fate. From then on, we hacked life and rode the wave to the top. It wasn't until the night of my wedding to Harper that a charred, shadowy figure barged into my dream, roaring, "Who gave you permission to turn my tragedy script into a team-building exercise? You dare come here? Eat my fist." I beat him senseless, but I didn't expect the karma for twisting the plot to land in such an unexpected way. "Get out. Leave me alone." No one answered my knock, but the sobbing inside didn't stop. I carefully pushed the door open. Good thing my reflexes were sharp. I barely dodged the pillow flying straight at my face. My little childhood sweetheart, Harper Vance, sat at the head of her bed, wallowing in misery, her voice already hoarse from crying. From her warm welcome, I could tell Harper's parents, Alan and Mary, were right. After getting her test results and finding out her sister, Haley, had beaten her by 3 points again, Harper had indeed swallowed gunpowder. It was one thing to be unapproachable to strangers, but biting the heads off friends was another level. But this wouldn't stump me. "What's wrong? Did you change your zodiac sign to firecracker, Harper?" You ignite at the slightest touch. Braving the death stare from her swollen red eyes, I casually walked over to her desk. Thud! The takeout bag of Cajun crawfish and the mango boba tea definitely caught the girl's eye. But immediately, she reverted to her gloomy, fierce look. "What is this supposed to mean? Are you here to mock my fruitless efforts, just like Ashley and Brittany?" I had zero interest in teenage girl drama. Giving advice without the full picture usually just made things worse. I decided to play the "you fight your war, I'll fight mine" card, ignoring her aggression and changing the subject. "Here, your favorite spicy crawfish tails." The place was packed. I stood in line for half an hour. Good thing I bought the crawfish first. If I'd been brain dead and bought the boba first, the ice would have melted by the time I got to your house. Harper choked on her anger, took a deep breath, and bared her fangs at me again. "Caleb, Stone, you came here on purpose to piss me off, didn't you? Do you not understand what I'm?" Crack! I popped the lid off the plastic crawfish container, and the spicy aroma filled the room. Harper's eyes glossed over, and tears of grievance rolled down to the corners of her mouth. I pressed the advantage, shaking the mango boba with the cream cheese foam in front of her. "Your mom said you haven't eaten all day. Have a snack first, and I'll take you out to forage for real food." Being ignored twice was frustrating, like punching cotton, but I had brought her favorites. In the end, the girl's competitive spirit couldn't defeat her innate foodie instincts. Harper shot me a glare and surrendered. "Let go. These are mine." "Hey, so greedy? Can't I just have one? Not even one. I bought these for you, you know. You gave them to me, so they're mine. Plus, you didn't wash your hands." "Fine. I'll go wash up and come back to eat with you." Harper ignored me, burying her head to demolish the crawfish. I turned to head to the bathroom, shooting Alan and Mary a "relax, I got this" look on the way out. Little Harper Vance. Her weaknesses were all within my calculations. Trying to flare up at me? Hilarious. However, diffusing an emotional breakdown was simple. The trouble lay ahead. After all, whether it was being locked into a 3-point deficit by a twin no matter how hard you try, or sister sleeps and still scores 3 points higher, none of this could be solved by simple counseling. There was something supernatural going on behind the scenes. One step at a time. I think I've been targeted by some bad juju. After finishing the crawfish I brought, clearly a case of it's hard to stay mad at someone who just fed you, Harper finally half relented under her parents' encouraging gazes and let me take her out. I took the starving girl to a nearby food court for a bowl of spicy ramen. Then, using the excuse that I cracked a high score on your favorite rhythm game and I'm going to crush you, I dragged her to the arcade to blow off steam. Only after we had played to our heart's content did the ice around the girl finally shatter. On the walk home, we finally got to the main topic. Targeted by bad juju was Harper's answer. "I knew you wouldn't believe me. If you want to laugh, go ahead. I'm just a loser who can't flip the script no matter how much I struggle." "Stop. I never said I didn't believe you. Please elaborate on this bad juju." Seeing Harper about to sink back in her emo phase, her eyebrows drooping again, I quickly offered validation. "I can tell you've run into something weird, but you have to explain it clearly so I can help you figure it out. It's useless. Telling you won't help. I've tried everything. It stuck to me like death. Whether I grind or slack off, she always scores 3 points higher. Unless you can go beat her up so she can't take the exam. This you're talking about is Haley? I confirmed the intel. Harper nodded vigorously, her misty eyes full of grievance. Yes, my sister, Haley. She thinks she's acting perfectly. But I know the bad juju is on her. It's just that nobody wants to believe me. Speaking of this, tears started falling plip-plop again. The teachers don't see my hard work. They thought the few times I tested Haley's scores were just me having an off day. When I told the teacher, he said I was making excuses for my own laziness. My classmates don't believe me either, mocking me for cracking under pressure. Now, even mom and dad look at me like I'm a mental patient. I'm really going to crash. I stopped walking and gently placed my hand on my childhood friend's shoulder. Right now, she didn't need logic. She needed presence. Sure enough, after crying for a bit, she perked up. The emptiness in her eyes was replaced by a glimmer of light. Thanks, Caleb. Thank you for believing me instead of questioning and mocking me like everyone else. Actually, while you were eating with me, I thought of a solution. I won't let Haley destroy me so easily. Listening to the girl's spirited declaration, I had the urge to facepalm. Honey, if 3 points can destroy you, your life is too fragile. But I chose to let her vent. Harper, what counterattack plan did you come up with? Tell me, I'll be your consultant. Let's see if there are any holes. Harper had always treated me as her unofficial strategist since we were kids, so she didn't hesitate. She didn't hold back, pouring out the details of her cruel plan. I'm going to pull a feint. Publicly sign up for the physics Olympiad, but actually sign up for both physics and math. Then, I'll bail on the physics exam and secure a guaranteed admission spot through the math competition. Harper was built as the genius archetype and had always been the pride of the Van Cess. If I wasn't also capable in various ways, her parents would have crushed me by comparing me to someone else's child long ago. I didn't think she was bluffing. I nodded, and then comes my revenge. I'm going to make Haley regret her crimes against me. A ruthless look flashed across Harper's eyes. After I get the guaranteed spot, I have 2 plans. Either I score 1 point less than perfect on the finals, causing Haley's total score to overflow the maximum. Let's see how she explains that to society. Or I skip the finals entirely, leaving her without my score as a standard, so she can't suppress me. Caleb, which method do you think is more satisfying? Harper. I hesitated, seeing me fall into thought. Harper looked confused. What's wrong? I looked at the lingering ruthlessness in her eyes, sighed softly, and softened my tone. Harper, I understand your grievance and anger. But before I analyze this, I want to confirm something with you. Do you hate Haley enough that you absolutely have to destroy her? Harper froze on the spot. The noisy night breeze brushed her hair, leaving the subtle mess nowhere to hide on her youthful face. How about this? As your childhood sweetheart, I feel obligated to help you solve this crisis. So, I plan to confront Haley first. Then we can decide on the specific details of the counterattack together. Is that okay? To prevent Harper from resenting my overstepping, I played the childhood sweetheart card for the first time. Sure enough, the girl's face flushed red. She was too busy being shy to worry about my hidden motives. What sweetheart? Talking nonsense. You're not my sweetheart. Seeing my friend's shy reaction, I was halfway relieved. She wasn't a major problem anymore. Next up was Haley, that little brat. I wanted to see exactly what kind of bad juju was backing her, trying to destroy an ordinary family over 3 measly points. What exactly was it? The day after dropping Harper home, I asked Haley out. As I expected, Haley agreed with ecstatic enthusiasm. If her goal was to take everything from her sister, I assumed I was one of her targets too. We met at the mall entrance. When I saw her trying to suppress her excitement, the unprecedented confidence in her eyes confirmed half my suspicion. Sitting in a quiet coffee shop, I ordered an iced chocolate for Haley. Before she could try to get close or talk in circles, I dropped the pleasantries and cut straight to the chase. You were reborn? It looks like no. So, you awakened a superpower? Not that either. Then it must be, you bound a system. Reading too many web novels gave me extremely divergent thinking. Knowing them inside out allowed me to perceive her emotions. Plus, I was already guessing in the supernatural direction. The third armor-piercing round finally penetrated the girl's disguise perfectly. Looks like it's a system then. Little Haley actually became a system host just like in the novels. Impressive. The girl's defense was shattered by my precision strike. She sprayed a mouthful of unswallowed iced coffee all over me. I watched the panic in her eyes, leisurely cleaning the mess off my chest with a napkin. Catching a glimpse of shame and knowing she wasn't beyond saving, I rejoiced again in my choice to lay my cards on the table. After all, although Haley had a gloomy, introverted personality and wasn't nearly as close to me as her sister Harper, we did grow up together. There's a bond there. I knew she and Harper had always been at odds, but I couldn't just watch the two sisters march toward a death match. No such thing. Caleb, you're making things up in this world. How could there be a system? The girl didn't dare lift her head and looked ready to flee in panic. I grabbed her arm. My voice, stripping away the earlier playfulness, became a bit more aggressive. If there's no system, why are you running? Weren't you happy when I asked you out? If you aren't lying, look me in the eyes. Tell me confidently that every time you score 3 points higher than your sister, it has nothing to do with a system. I didn't. What 3 points? I don't know anything. Caleb, you misunderstood me. Seeing that I was using too much force and Haley was about to cry from pain, I loosened my grip. Haley stammered for a long time, but ultimately lacked the courage to make that promise. Thus, my guess was 100% verified. Filled with disappointment for the little sister I watched grow up, I sighed. Actually, life is more than just exams. A 3-point difference really isn't a massive deal. If always scoring 3 points higher than your sister is really that important to you. Seeing Haley stop trying to run and start sobbing instead, I handed her a tissue and analyzed the stakes earnestly. I'll take charge and explain it to your sister. We could just openly link you to her. Or, link to me, I'll carry you. Putting aside that you are sisters by blood, is it worth plotting against each other and becoming mortal enemies over such trivial matters? If you cast your gaze a bit further, you'll discover the world is huge. Even without your sister, you have a whole country, a whole planet of competitors. For your sister, there's always someone better. There are plenty of boys and girls more brilliant than her. We don't need you being the one to top her by 3 points. Sorry. Caleb, hey, you shouldn't be saying sorry to me. I'll go back and explain clearly to my sister. I shook my head. Not to your sister, but to yourself. Haley suddenly looked up, her teary eyes full of shock. Just getting a score 3 points higher than your sister, that's really trivial. But you shouldn't have spread those rumors about her. I didn't. The classmates saw it themselves and said it themselves. I didn't slander my sister. Haley retorted anxiously, clearly caring about her image in my eyes. I just guided the conversation a little from the side, started a topic. I didn't actively spread rumors. I was rendered speechless. Little sister, we're all students here. Who are you trying to fool with that stubbornness? If you hadn't put effort into weaving rumors about your sister, if you hadn't spread them everywhere, who would care about your sudden rise in grades? And who would be bored enough to use a little sister to drag down a top student big sister every day? Admittedly, my accusation of spreading rumors was just deduction and probing based on the situation, but Haley wasn't a natural-born villain. Her reaction hammered the final nail into the coffin of her crime. I shook my head helplessly and sighed again. Haley, the three of us grew up together. I know what kind of person you are, including what you look like when you lie. Caleb, Haley wanted to explain, but I interrupted her. Do you know why I just said you should apologize to yourself? Haley looked confused. I reached out and tucked a stray lock of hair behind her ear, my voice filled with nostalgia. The Haley I knew, though introverted, sensitive, and not good with words. Her body stiffened slightly, tears falling harder, but she didn't dodge my touch. She was always a sincere, kind girl. Beneath that shy exterior was a heart of gold, gentle yet strong. Where did you hide the older? No scolding, just nostalgia for the past. But this pierced deeper than any scolding. Haley broke down completely, unable to even speak clearly. Confronting her to this extent today was enough. Pressing harder would only cause meaningless hurt. I decided to use flanking tactics. Haley, let me take you home first. Think about it properly, and let's talk openly tomorrow, okay? Everything, including you, including your sister and your system. Haley didn't dare look at me again, but finally nodded. I sighed inwardly. She was just a young girl after all. She couldn't even be bad thoroughly. With my bluff, her system's secret was exposed. Fortunately, things hadn't worsened. Now that everything was in the open, there wouldn't be further harm. But this system, what exactly was this bad juju that could lock in a 3-point gap? Could it be trash designed solely to make one girl crush another girl's grades? On the way to drop Haley home, my mind was jumping around. A pile of baseless associations revolved around that bad juju. Binding grades? Hey, if it likes exams so much, then let me test it. Don't disappoint me. The next day, I met Haley again. Surprisingly, this meeting included another party. My childhood sweetheart, the victim, Harper Vance. Thank you, Caleb. If it weren't for you, I might have been swallowed by extreme hatred, and I don't know what terrible things I would have done. Upon meeting, Harper bowed deeply to me. Her solemn manner surprised me. However, seeing the fight-to-the-death hostility between the sisters significantly reduced, I was very happy. Haley told me everything. Harper looked at Haley, who stood beside her looking like a child who had done wrong, with a mix of pity and frustration. The three of us found a quiet spot to sit. With Haley's hesitant confession, the truth behind the recent turmoil finally surfaced. Last year, when Haley just started 10th grade, she was suddenly bound to something called the bonus point system one night. The rules and functions of the bonus point system were extremely simple. It allowed Haley to lock onto a target. From then on, as long as both took an exam that could be quantified by a score, Haley's score would be 3 points higher than Harper's. It was these 3 points, plus Haley's secret rumor-mongering, that nearly drove her sister, my Harper, to a dead end. Sobi, I'm sorry. Harper, I'm sorry. Caleb, I didn't mean to. Haley was weeping again. I just envied Harper. Envied that she was smarter than me, had a better personality, was more popular. We're twins, but I was inferior to her in every way. At first, I just wanted to learn from her. But the harder I tried, the further behind I fell. I got too anxious, and eventually, that anxiety turned into jealousy of my sister, even hate. Haley spoke clearly, showing that she had indeed opened her heart to Harper last night and reflected deeply. Finally, under Harper's helpless but still resentful gaze, and in my silence, Haley bowed to her sister again. I'm sorry, Harper. I really know I was wrong this time. Caleb was right. I shouldn't have focused only on our home, staring at my own flesh and blood sister. The girl's sobbing voice was full of sincerity. Sis, I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me these past days. But I promise I won't compare myself to you anymore, and I won't use this bonus point system that hurts others and myself. Use it. Why wouldn't you use it? I, having remained silent during the sisterly mediation, suddenly spoke up. Haley, eyes blurry with tears, was stunned. Harper, looking helpless and icy, was also stunned. My gaze darted between the two sisters, finding both girls looking astonished, as if continuing to use that bad juju was some kind of mistake. I couldn't help but ask, Harper, Haley, don't you two think that besides creating conflict between sisters, this bonus point system has other uses? Both girls shook their heads simultaneously. At this moment, the twins showed the tacit understanding they were supposed to have. Seeing the girls being so dense, I slapped my thigh in frustration. Confused. You guys are so confused. What did Haley just say? As long as both took an exam that could be quantified by a score, Haley's score would be 3 points higher than Harper's. I looked at Harper, and you call yourself a mathlete? Faced with a concept that has clear definition but vague boundaries, don't you want to explore those boundaries? Harper paused, being a genius. After a moment of contemplation, the same strange light that was in my eyes finally flashed in hers. Only Haley, whose head was full of competition but was essentially a bit goofy, was still puzzled. The bonus point system only lets me score 3 points higher than Harper. Aside from choosing whether to temporarily block the binding with her, I have absolutely no other operating permissions. You guys. Sis, Caleb, you're looking at me weirdly. What? What is it? What is it? Haley, you genius. You found a glitch in the Matrix this time. The bonus point system is likely a treasure trove waiting to be excavated. I looked at Harper, and we both couldn't help but laugh. The tacit understanding between childhood sweethearts is just this mysterious. Haley, on the side, got anxious. She didn't know what we had figured out, but she didn't want to be left behind again. Sis, Caleb, count me in. The system exploration trio was officially established right there. The bonus point system never dreamed that a toy used to incite domestic conflict could be milked for all it's worth by 3 unscrupulous teenagers. Great engineering projects often start from a cramped beginning. For instance, our exploration of the system began in the very girly study room of the Vance sisters. Seeing that I had truly brought Harper out of her depression and reconciled the sisters who were at each other's throats, Alan and Mary were overjoyed. Every time they came in to deliver water or a fruit platter, they didn't forget to give me a thumbs up, nodding with smiles. I responded with a relax, I got this smile. Making the sisters abandon a year of estrangement out of thin air was hard, but rebuilding trust and truly letting go of barriers through a common enterprise was feasible. Moreover, the potential benefits behind this were enough to make both girls drool, right? Our exploration started with the mechanism of adding points, definition of an exam, and quantification of scores. For the initial test, to control variables, we use a set of first-grade math problems. Max score 100. Harper scored 90. Haley also scored 90. When I announced the exam is over, I fell a trance. Looking at Harper's paper, there was no change. Looking at Haley's paper, there were a few more answers. The points corresponding to the answers were exactly 3 points. I observed the result and cheerfully announced the discovery of this round. It seems that as long as you subjectively believe that what you are participating in is an exam, you can trigger this bonus point system. Then we really have a toy. Ha! Harper was very happy. Clearly, she also discovered the expanded gameplay of this toy called System. She smiled even brighter than I did. Haley didn't get it but felt it was awesome, laughing along with us foolishly. In the subsequent test rounds, we tested Haley takes the exam, but scores lower than Harper. Haley takes the exam, but scores higher than Harper. Haley skips, Harper takes the exam. Harper skips, Haley takes the exam, and many other situations. The fact was, this system was very rigid. Haley was always 3 points higher than Harper. Even if Haley scored full marks, she would be dragged back to a state of only 3 points higher than Harper. See, if you study better than your sister, or if your sister hands in a blank paper, using this system means you're sabotaging yourself. My sister is definitely better than me. If I could beat her, I wouldn't need this system. Haley mumbled aggrievedly. We also tested Harper getting a perfect score. The result was Haley also got a perfect score and no score overflow appeared. There, Harper, your plan to get a perfect score and use score overflow to take revenge on Haley is a bust. Since the crisis was over, I wasn't afraid to expose the previous plan in front of Haley. Cease. Found out long ago and want to take revenge on me? Haley broke out in a cold sweat. Harper nodded thoughtfully. As expected, we still have to do more practice and figure out the underlying mechanisms for any plan to be meaningful. The light in the girl's eyes grew more intense. I understood that light was called the thirst for knowledge. As for sisterly conflict, did the sisters have a conflict? Then, we continued doing math problems. But our testing began to get more complex. If the remaining questions totaled more than 3 points, what would the state of Haley's extra answers be? Testing immediately, after some tossing around, we got a clear result. Haley's extra 3 points were based on the grading standard of the remaining blank questions. If the remaining total score on the paper was 30 points, the extra answers would get 1/10 of that. 3 points. If the full score was 3 points, everything would be correct. Then, the testing expanded beyond math, physics, chemistry, even English. When testing the essay, Harper handed in a blank paper. Haley's paper appeared with a bunch of chicken scratch. I took a picture of her incoherent essay, sent it to our English teacher, Mr. Henderson, and sincerely asked, "Sir, look at this essay. How much would you give it?" 3 points. Not a point more. "Caleb, what is this garbage? Good abstract intent, but terrible execution. Off topic, unintelligible. If I didn't see your attitude was somewhat earnest, I'd want to give you 2.5. Caleb, you're slacking. Come in my office tomorrow." Mr. Henderson critiqued it harshly, but the sisters and I were laughing like crazy. Experiment successful. The bonus point system had ultimately been played by us into a universal content generator. At this moment, Haley, who had been clueless all day, finally spotted the highlight, smiling until her eyes curved like crescents. "Sis, Caleb, I thought of a brilliant idea." The little girl wanted to keep it secret. Harper and I tickled her until she confessed under torture. Say, we make an extra credit question, and the question is the winning numbers for the next Powerball. Then wouldn't we win a jackpot every time and become billionaires in minutes? You guys always say I'm dumb. Actually, I'm a low-key genius. Seeing Haley with her hands on her hips looking proud, Harper and I laughed so hard we couldn't stand straight. What are you laughing at? Sis, Caleb, you're just jealous of my flash of inspiration. Harper and I cooperated with her for this test. Sure enough, we got a string of numbers. Haley happily took Alan's ID and went to buy a lottery ticket. The result was naturally joy for nothing. Holding the losing ticket, Haley came back with a long face, eyes red. How come? Not a single one matches? This system looks like it's no good either. A dream of sugar baby counterattack shattered silently. Harper laughed so hard she couldn't speak. I patted Sister Vance on the shoulder to comfort her. Did you think the lottery's anti-time travel mechanism was just for show? Little sister, if we say you're dumb, just accept it. WY? Sis, Caleb, what's going on? We continued laughing wildly, playing the Riddler. Amidst Haley's confusion and exasperation, the remnant of Harper's resentment dissipated. Finally, The negative impact of the system storm was completely erased through our communication and cooperation. And in the future, there were many more fun things to do. A tiny system wanted to stir up trouble under my nose and make my sweetheart's family restless? Be a good cash cow for us instead. After that, the lives of the Vance sisters and I were like we had cheat codes. Anything we weren't sure about could be turned into a super simple extra credit question on a test paper once clearly defined. The extra credit question is 3 points total, complexity depending on the situation we faced. I was the proctor, Harper and Haley were the examinees, and the bonus point system was the workhorse giving the answers. I wonder if this sneaky, rat-eyed system lord, who obviously came with the goal of family unrest, would cry about us being too overpowered after being forced by the three of us down the evil path of creating happiness. But we didn't care. Perfect study schedules were given as 3 bonus points, making our learning and lives increasingly efficient and healthy. Suitable investment projects were given as 3 bonus points, drastically improving my family's and the Van Cess financial situation. Some uncertain decisions, we also asked the bonus point system. For example, the choice of theme for the science innovation competition, the practicality of study guides, even where to go on the weekend for the most fun. What kind of outfit makes Haley look cuter? How to be as sunny and confident as her sister. This was an exam she forced me and her sister to make. The locked-in 3-point difference was tormented by us into a wishing well that granted every wish. It is worth mentioning that through exams, we determined the use of the system, although having no extra cost, still requires Haley, the host, to pay mental energy. Previously, after asking the system to predict a complex financial plan, Haley slept for an entire afternoon. While simple outfit advice only made her yawn, the mental energy consumed by the system was directly proportional to the complexity of the answer. If not for this, I'm afraid we would have thrown difficult problems like proving gold box conjecture, EUV lithography machine manufacturing, and 5th-generation turbofan engine manufacturing to the system to tackle. Caleb, I don't get it. After optimizing a study plan again, using the bonus point system, Haley finally couldn't hold back the doubt in her heart. The system is so powerful. Why don't we just let it output next year's finals questions? Why do we have to continue working hard? Going a long way and fussing so much, it's kind of troublesome. What a lazybones. Just past the previous crisis, and she's already thinking of taking shortcuts again. I scraped the girl's nose, and amidst Haley's protests, I asked her, think back. What was your mindset when you used the system to lock onto your sister before? The scars between the sisters had completely healed, and the details of the previous storm were no longer a taboo that needed to be avoided. Just felt very relaxed. Getting something for nothing gave me a sense of superiority that I could easily trample on my sister's hard work and sweat. Haley recalled carefully, twisting and turning as she answered. Also, after not having to put effort into studying, I could focus entirely on dragging my sister down. My whole person became mean and extreme. That's about it. Sis, I was wrong. I don't know what happened. It was like I was hexed back then, sorry. Since no irreversible harm was caused, Harper just hugged her sister, responding to her apology once again. So, Haley, did you notice? When you use the system to take shortcuts and become a score parasite, the inertia of getting something for nothing will make you lose the ability to work hard normally, while forming a dependency on the system. And you know that everything you get is based on the results of locking onto your sister, having nothing to do with you. The disconnected sense of deservingness will make you do extreme things you wouldn't normally do, like treating your sister as a mortal enemy. I was also seriously analyzing the pros and cons of the system for the Vance sisters outside of practice for the first time. The 2 girls listened very seriously. So, if you can't control the recklessly expanding desire, the out-of-control greed and fear will turn living people into monsters of desire. This is why we must maintain our own efforts. We must treat the system as a tool, not be slaves to the system. The sisters nodded one after another. The smile on my sweetheart's lips was so sweet, as if saying, there's cognitive resonance, truly worthy of the childhood sweetheart who grew up with me. Her sister's eyes held a touch of confusion. Clearly, she needed more growth and realization. But it didn't matter, there was plenty of time. We were still young. After that, with the help of the bonus point system and the watering of our own sweat, everything improved steadily. The lives of the sisters and I became more and more fulfilling. Confidence brought health and grades. The 2 families also became wealthier under the guidance of the bonus point system. Interestingly, because we used our parents as proxies for investments to prepare for our future startup capital, the Vance parents thought my parents were investment geniuses, and my parents thought the Van Cess were financial wizards. Both families thought the other was a ticket to wealth, and interactions became closer and closer, but the paper window was never poked through. Every time they saw me going to find Harper to play, the encouraging and even eager looks from my parents made me snort with laughter. Whether it was me or the Vance sisters, we all had a strange feeling, as if things shouldn't have developed in this direction. But the current situation looked pretty good no matter how you looked at it. It couldn't be that sisters completely falling out and the family falling apart over 3 points was the destined correct direction, right? That would be too petty. Time flew. Finals arrived, and the Vance sisters and I handled it calmly. Haley's final score was 10 points lower than her sister Harper. It turned out that during the exam, even though she had already obtained her sister's permission, she chose to see her real strength and give a true answer sheet belonging to herself for the 2 years of guidance from her sister and Caleb. Fortunately, the final result was good. We still went to the same university. It was just that the three of us, shining brighter and brighter with the cheat code of the bonus point system, had no idea what kind of huge trouble the wicked system would cause us in the future. University days were fulfilling and beautiful. After graduation, Harper raced along the path of the genius girl. Her solid foundation, plus the system's assistance, allowed her to successfully join a research institute, becoming a shining new star in the scientific research world. Her sister Haley had long broken away from the persona of struggling to grow under her sister's shadow, unable to breathe, and founded our own company with me. Our products were competitive, and we were about to IPO on the tech board. Haley today is confident, sunny, and optimistic. She no longer pursues deliberately imitating her sister in every gesture. Clearly, she has discovered her own unique brilliance. Only recently, I always felt she was a bit strange, but I couldn't put my finger on what was weird. In the last few meetings, Haley would always stare at the wedding rings on me and Harper in a daze. Her eyes were complex, looking like envy, yet also hiding something heavy. When asked, she said it was nothing. I wondered if it was because my wedding date with my sweetheart was approaching, touching a nerve, that Haley would occasionally reveal that childhood melancholy. If not for that distant family crisis having been almost completely forgotten by us, I would have thought the system's bad roots were making a comeback. Caleb, this contract is very important. I might really miss the wedding between you and my sister. CEO Haley Vance, pouting her small mouth, was actually quite cute. It made me feel like I was seeing that bad girl whose trick was exposed back then in trance. It's the biggest event of your sister's life. I was speechless. I hadn't seen her being such a workaholic before. Also, you should call me brother-in-law. Facing my correction, Haley tossed her snowy white neck, huffed, and ignored me, walking away in her high heels, leaving me sighing on the spot. So young, yet acting so hormonal. Whoever marries you is in for it. On the day of the wedding, everything was calm. My wife in her white wedding dress was so beautiful. We gazed affectionately at each other, a glance lasting 10,000 years. The elders of both families wept with joy that we had weathered the storms together. Only that night, I had an absolutely unforgettable strange dream. In the dream, a charred, twisted figure crawled out from somewhere and actually pinned me to the ground without a word, kicking and stomping. The pain was exceptionally real, making me angry, but I couldn't move at all. It's all your fault. You damn variable. Why can't you be erased? It shouldn't be like this. The world I constructed isn't like this at all. The world it constructed? Could this thing that looked like neither human nor a ghost really think of itself as a creator god? Seeing it was emotionally unstable and looked easy to trick, I tried to extract information while continuing to gather strength to break free. What variable? What erasure? I don't know what you're talking about. If the world you constructed shouldn't be like this, what should it be like? You have the nerve to ask. It's all your fault. I just went to the bathroom, and you changed my novel world woven with love beyond recognition. The Black Shadow wailed heartbreakingly. The plot I arranged was clearly the sister getting the system acting recklessly, driving the older sister to suicide by depression. After the older sister is reborn, she walks the path of guaranteed admission while praising the younger sister to death, making her fall from the altar under the public spotlight and commit suicide for redemption. From then on, the older sister escapes her native family, cuts off love, and becomes a real heroine. You variable that can't be erased. What right do you have to completely change the tone of my novel world? Is the bonus point system meant to be used like that? If you don't fight to the death, if the antagonistic emotions aren't provoked, who do I ask for my royalties? Just for your pathetic royalties. My Harper should be driven to suicide by her sister Haley? Honestly, there were many parts of its words I didn't quite understand. But none of that mattered. Harper Vance, my childhood sweetheart, my wife, is my bottom line. Haley Vance is also half a childhood sweetheart. The sister-in-law I grew up with, and now a partner in business. She is also an untouchable limit for me. I, Caleb Stone, only have these two limits, and you crossed them both. Damn, author, what kind of thing are you, daring to arrange such a tragic ending for them? Rage poured down from the top of my head, flowing through my limbs and bones. The mysterious confinement was broken. I turned into a burning man and jumped to my feet with a kip up. You, what are you doing? I'm the author. I'm the creator god. Do you dare? Ouch, not the face. What do I dare not do? You dare target the people I care about most? If I don't beat the crap out of you, you can count yourself lucky. I don't care if the opponent is some creator god. I pushed him down and pinned him for a good beating. Author, huh? Depression, huh? Suicide, ooh. Who told you a heroine has to cut off love? Having family care means she can't build a career? You're so full of it. Your heart is poisonous. Out. I'll teach you to arrange sisters killing each other, building happiness on the pain of the characters you write. And you call yourself a creative writer. You have no culture at all. Go work on an assembly line. Ouch. I'll teach you to promote cutting off love and family harming each other. Our family is happy and harmonious. Isn't that 100 times more exciting than your gloomy, dirty thoughts? Those who harm others will be harmed. Take this. Ouch, stop hitting me. Also, I'll teach you to touch my wife, touch my sister-in-law. Today I, Caleb Stone, am going all out. It's either you die or you perish. Stop hitting Mercy. I'll never add cheap melodrama to your world again. Boo-hoo-hoo. Sadly, our lives were just melodramatic plots to grab attention in his eyes. No wonder the bonus point system came with malice to provoke internal strife as soon as it appeared. But it didn't matter. My fist was the best doctor, specializing in treating all kinds of supernatural nonsense. After a severe beating, my thoughts cleared and my body and mind felt at ease. Using all creativity and resources to fight to the death with family, friends, and lovers, treating kinship, friendship, and love as mortal enemies that must be deconstructed. I naturally couldn't stop you if you did this behind my back. But if you let me see it and even deliberately jumped into my face, don't blame me for going ballistic. The author rolled all over the ground, wailing repeatedly, finally crying and promising never to do it again, to turn over a new leaf. I wasn't that murderous, so I held back for the time being. Just as I was preparing to reason with him properly, I saw the charred humanoid figure suddenly grin, revealing a resentful smile, a mouth full of teeth eerily white. Caleb, you think you won? You're wrong. Ha 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 ha. I not only took back the system, but I also arranged the most vicious revenge for you. Let's see how you clean this up. You lost. You're the loser. Ha ha ha. The system was useful, but the three of us didn't rely entirely on the system to get to where we are today. As for this author, he looked really sick. He needed serious treatment. Can't do anything with you, huh? Facing the stubborn dead duck, my fist got harder. Used a fire punch on him. You, what are you doing? Ouch. The revenge the author threatened was ultimately silenced by my rain of fists. But as his figure faded, I also instantly woke up from the dream. Cold sweat soaked my whole body. Looking beside me, my wife slept peacefully, the satisfaction at the corner of her mouth as cute as when she was a child. I let out a long sigh of relief. However, the next moment, my wife sat up in panic as well. What's wrong? Had a nightmare. The system, the bonus point system, is gone. My wife's voice carried a crying tone. Gone is gone. Anyway, we came all this way relying mostly on ourselves. My dear wife, you have to be confident. My embrace settled my wife's loss and panic. The familiar fragrance and soft body also allowed me to gradually recover from the aftershocks of a nightmare instilled by the author. But just as I was patting my wife's back to comfort her, a flash of inspiration made my hair stand on end. Wait, you said the system is gone? My wife was just a victim locked onto by the bonus point system. How could she know about the system coming and going? Something was wrong. Something was 12 out of 10 wrong. Click. Just then, the door opened. Another Harper walked in. Hubby, I'm sorry. There was a big problem at the lab. I know standing you up on the biggest event of our lives is wrong. Although I arranged everything so our families wouldn't lose face, I still felt uneasy. As soon as things were settled there, I rushed back. You. The next moment, the second Harper froze on the spot, the apology gift in her hand falling to the ground. You guys, I looked at the Harper on the bed. Her face was full of panic and helplessness at her plan being exposed. The magnificent female CEO seemed to turn back into that pitiful little girl whose trick was seen through in an instant. Then I looked at the Harper at the door, her eyes going from confusion to shock, finally filled with an indescribable expression mixed with heartache, understanding, and even relief. My vision went black, and I almost fainted. Damn, Arthur, is this the revenge you left for the three of us? You, where did you go? Come back, my house is giving out gold bars. Come out early, and I promise not to beat you to death. I, Caleb Stone, keep my word. Extra, my name is Haley Vance. My name is Haley Vance, a transparent person living in the shadow of my twin sister. My sister has a cheerful and sunny personality, while I am cowardly and gloomy. My sister is a straight-A student, and no matter how hard I try, I can't surpass her. My sister has a deeply affectionate childhood sweetheart accompanying her, while I seem to never enter his eyes, even though I was the one who met him first. My family thinks my relationship with my sister is very good. My sister thinks so, Caleb thinks so. Even I thought so myself. But when I accidentally bound the bonus point system, the first thing I thought of was revenge on my sister, to take everything back from her. At that moment, I realized I didn't get along with her at all, even. I hated her. So, I didn't choose to lock onto Caleb, who had better grades, but locked onto my sister. I would always be 3 points higher than her. Suppress her. No one knew how happy I was when I deliberately let loose before the exam, then showed off my score, 3 points higher than hers, in front of her, seeing her shocked, confused, and stunned gaze, and even catching jealousy in it. I knew my revenge was effective. Later, I deliberately showed my dominance in grades in front of her, while manufacturing gossip about her among classmates. Bit by bit, my sister was driven beyond recognition by me, and I also turned into a shape I didn't recognize. Fortunately, Caleb stepped in. He saw through everything and stripped away the dirty thoughts in my heart. I thought I would be completely discarded and return to being that transparent person. But just as I was about to be swallowed by despair, Caleb and my sister forgave me and took me along to find the true usage of the bonus point system. Thank goodness. If not for Caleb, I really don't know what kind of living hell my originally harmonious family would have been turned into by this system. After that, I could feel Caleb and my sister caring more about me, as if they felt they had neglected me before, causing me to go to extremes. But the more they did this, the more guilty and scared I felt inside. They didn't do anything wrong. The one who made mistakes was always me. At that moment, I understood that I had to pull myself together and grow hard. This wasn't just for me, but for my sister and Caleb, for mom and dad, to respond to all expectations, and to not let down Caleb and my sister's forgiveness. Later, everything was calm. My sister had her career, and I became the person I wanted to be. It's just that, no matter how well I hid it, I still couldn't deceive my own heart. My sister and Caleb are childhood sweethearts, but what about me? As a child, I was too insecure to even express my liking. When I grew up, I had the confidence to show myself, but everything was too late. Unwilling? No, I can't say I'm unwilling, but I don't want to spend my life in regret. Caleb and my sister think I'm dumb. Actually, how could I, who once plotted a toxic scheme of mental oppression against my sister, really be a sweet, naive girl? Caleb's test of the system's usage conditions actually had a loophole. It's not that my sister and I both believe it's an exam for the condition to trigger. As long as I unilaterally feel I am facing an exam, it is enough. I tested this behind Caleb and my sister's backs several times, digging deeper into the system's potential than both of them. Actually, it's easy to understand if you think about it. After all, I am the host of the bonus point system. The so-called exams were never restricted to written ones. They could also be very abstract exams. So, I treated our lives as a grand exam that never ends. Before my sister's wedding, before everything was completely written in stone, I asked my sister, "Sis, are you happy?" My sister smiled like a flower. "Happy. With you, with Caleb, with mom and dad. I'm especially happy." Then out of 10 points, how many points of happiness do you have? 10 points. My sister smiled decisively. I said silently in my heart, "Very good. This is an exam with a full score of 13 points. I will always be 3 points higher than you. 1 point per question. I will answer 3 extra credit questions alone. How to not leave myself with regrets and truly be with Caleb, even for just one day. How to prepare everything so no one discovers I tampered with things. How to conclude everything silently without leaving anyone hurt. Accustomed to imitating my sister, I was confident I could do everything seamlessly with the help of the system's answers. Now, of the 3 questions, I have already executed 2, but the bonus point system actually disappeared suddenly at the most critical moment. Seeing my sister come home, I realized I seem to have made a mistake again. Story complete, story complete.